This week we're giving away one of our flat top messenger bags, also known as the trip planning bag. Stay tuned for later in the episode on how you can win this bag right here.
Welcome to the Blue Ridge Bonfire, the official weekly update show of Blue Ridge Overlanding Gear. We are all about overcoming the obstacles to getting outside. I'm CT.
I'm Dean.
And it's good to have you along, so buckle up because it's going to be a bumpy ride. So last week we posted a video of a Winnebago Revel sprinter van. Pretty neat build of Winnebago's getting sort of into these off-road vehicles, and it's, not, you wouldn't expect RVs to be, four-wheel drive, but they're a little bit smaller and compact. Super cool build, super neat walk around. It was neat to see how he used some brog bags. But anyway, go back and check out that video if you haven't already.
Hey, CT, speaking of videos.
Oh, yes. We just passed 15,000
subscribers on YouTube. 15,000 subscribers. So thank you, everybody, for subscribing, liking our videos, commenting, whether it's the bonfire, a walk around, or a product video. We do it for you guys, and obviously you kind of like what we're doing if we're up to over 15,000 subscribers.
So welcome to Brogville, to Brog Nation. It's good to have you guys. So didn't we just reach a milestone on Instagram as well?
Instagram, we are almost there, almost to 70,000. We might be there by the time this video posts, we hope.
Yeah.
So we'll confirm next week for sure, but we're almost to 70,000.
Also wanted to let everyone know who bought the Chevy Colorado headrests, panel and console organizer that those have shipped out. So those should be coming your way soon.
Sweet deal. Brog Nation update time. All right, so last week we talked about how do you like your TP, over the top, down the back, front C's, back C's, over the top, under. And we had a lot of great comments, a lot of interaction from you guys, a lot of correct answers, which we like to see. Scott Senegal on Facebook hit us up right away. I mean, I think he was the first comment within a minute or two, and he had an expression I had never heard before. Over the top, mullets are cool, but beards are best. Rocking hands emoji. So I think you can agree, we're beard people, no mullets here. So we totally buy into that.
And then Overland Baby on Instagram said, over. You go over the bridge, not under where the dirty trolls hang out. You go over the rainbow. You dunk over people. Even Muggsy Bogues knew that. Apologies for the rambling outburst. Please send TP.
I don't know if we have any TP to send you because we're kind of hoarding our own supply right now, but if we find a spare roll, Overland Baby, we might be able to send you one. So yeah, needless to say, overwhelming and correct answers over the top. However, there's one situation, one scenario where going backsies with your TP is okay. At No Mo Ideas on Instagram explained, I was always an over front TP person, but pro tip, with little children, if you switch to under back, the children can't spin the roll off easy, which is actually the same thing apparently for cats. Cats love to play with TP. So protect that precious TP supply right now. Go front C's if you can, but if you got to protect it, back C's is okay.
This was new information for me. I'd never had problems with cats or kids, so this was good to know.
Yeah.
The more you know. So that wraps up the Brog Nation update, and that brings us to Events, yes.
Events. So last week we broke the bad news that pretty much every event for the next 2 months has been canceled or postponed. The biggest news was Overland Expo West in Flagstaff, Arizona has been postponed until July. So that's going to put it way out there.
Yeah, so now it's going to all the expos are going to crash sort of into each other.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah. We also got final word that Smoky Mountain Overland Rally down in Crosby, Tennessee has been postponed. Sad face. And a new date is to be determined based on vendor and venue availability and also how long this thing drags out. So sadly, pretty much every event has gotten the axe. But that brings us to an idea that we had about doing maybe some virtual trip planning. So, all right, so for this first part of trip planning, we're going to look at some of the resources that are out there. And my favorite go-to resource when I start planning a trip is maps. And I've got a couple different things here. So we got the trip planning bag, which has some gazetteers and some stuff in it. And then I also have this folio, which unfolds and has a whole bunch of different maps in it. So kind of what we'll do is we'll just go through like what are the different types of maps. So the first most common one is going to be your state DOT map. So this is Pennsylvania. You can open it up here, you know, and this is great because it gives you all of the information about an entire state. The downside is it really lacks in the finer detail. So this will show you your major highways and your interstates and your state routes and those sorts of things. It'll tell you where different cities are, but it's not going to give you that detailed information. And also when you start looking at, you know, your parks and your forests, that's not going to have any of the Forest Service roads on there. So these maps are great for giving you that big picture, but they lack detail. The next level in is going to be the gazetteers. And these are great because they give you a lot finer detail. The problem is if you start trying to use them for route planning, it kind of turns into a sadistic choose your own adventure, because if you go off to the top, it's like, okay, I got to turn to page 22, and then you got to flip and you got to find that page. And then if the route turns and goes off another page, it's like turn to page this, and you end up flipping back and forth. So gazetteers are great about giving you information about a specific area, and you can see a lot of the finer detail, a lot of the, you know, in your forests and stuff, you'll have your Forest Service roads, your campgrounds, your boat launches, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of great information in these, but they're not so great for kind of the route planning. So, you know, if you were to use the two together, you can plan your route on the state map. And then if you want to hone in on detail in a specific area, then you can kind of use the gazetteer to give you that. Now, other maps. So in terms of other maps that are out there, say you want to go to a national forest. The Forest Service has these maps. So this is the map for Monongahela National Forest in West Virginia. And what's nice about these maps is, again, you know, in format wise, they are pretty big. All right, so with these national forest maps, these are developed by the National Forest Service, and they are chock full of all the great information we as overland travel enthusiasts want. If you're hiking on the Appalachian Trail, it's got shelters marked, it's got campgrounds marked, it's got offices and parks and that stuff marked. But again, you're zooming in on a specific area, but some of the finer detail is kind of lost. So for instance, if we look here at the Dolly Sods Wilderness area, this is a super popular hiking spot in Monongahela National Forest. And you can see here on the map, there's still some good information, but you don't necessarily want to pull out this entire huge map for an area that's only this big. And that's where something like the Purple Lizard maps come into play. So this is the Purple Lizard maps for Dolly Sods and Seneca, which is roughly, you know, this area here and then this area down here. And what's nice about the Purple Lizard maps is, so now we're zooming in and here's the Dolly Sods, and you can see how much bigger it is on the Purple Lizard map. And it gives you all more detail in the top topography, gives you more detail with the hiking trails and stuff like that. And let's compare side by side. Okay, here's the level of detail of Dolly Sods in the Purple Lizard map, and then here's the level of detail on the National Forest Service map for Monongahela. So as you can see, it does give you a lot more information. But again, if you're planning a trip or a long weekend and you're going to be driving around into different areas within Monongahela National Forest, the Forest Service map gives you all of that great information. But if you're like, hey, I'm going to stop and go for a hike in Dolly Sods, that's when you would want to grab something like the Purple Lizard map. And on the flip side of the Dolly Sods map, they have an area down here where it covers Seneca Rocks, which is a very popular rock climbing area. It also has spruce knob on here. So again, you can look in and then you can even see when you get into something down like this area, all the different camping spots along the road are marked. So that's where these purple lizard maps really shine, is a lot of intense detail about a specific area.
And we're back.
And we're back, just like that. The magic of post-processing, editing.
So that brings us to the weekly giveaway. Dean, last week we gave away the prototype. Who won?
At Overland Baby, you're the winner. We can't promise TP, but you were lucky enough to win the 1-of-1 limited edition super special
Prototype
laser cut molly panel with orange backing. So we will
Congratulations.
get that out to you. Just hit us a DM or an email, messenger squirrel, something, and we will totally get that to you.
Beep, boop, 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 boop. Morse code.
Ooh, yeah. We should. Do the squirrels know Morse code?
They do. That's
All
the
right.
only way. That's the only way we can read it. Okay.
All right, so this week we're giving away the flat top messenger bag. You saw this being used during our trip planning video. This is a great little bag, and as you can see, it is just big enough to fit the large gazetteers. It's got Velcro, it's got 2 loops, it also has a shoulder strap. This is a super useful bag. So the way you can win this is post your question for trip planning, and not only will you be entered in a chance to win this bag, but we might also answer your question on next week's Bonfire. So comment below with your question as it pertains to trip planning logistics, what resources are there, how do you find them, where do you go, what vehicle can you take where, how much TP do you need to pack, like how many squirrels will you see along the way. Comment your question and you will be entered to win this bag, and we might answer your question during next week's Bonfire.
So thanks for watching or listening. Leave us a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. I'm CT.
I'm Dean.
And we will see you guys next week.